to you, cherished viewers of Clock TV. You're welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host, Yaira Awuno. We're coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV here in Accra. And you can also catch us on GoTV channel 184. If you're not in the comfort of your home, maybe you're on your way to work or you're on your way out, you can join us via social media, Facebook and on YouTube. Now, the conversations for today, as always, are going to be interesting, as on the lifestyle segment, we're going to be discussing cervical cancer awareness, and this is something that a lot of us need to learn regardless of our gender, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman. This is something that we need to learn about, the genetics, the diseases, how they are caused, the preventive measures, the curative measures, all of that. And also on the online and print review, we're also going to be having an extended version where we're going to have a part 1 shortly after this segment, and then the part 2 will come later in the show with my co-host as well. Now, let's prepare our hearts to be motivated. Right, so as the week is beginning, we need to motivate ourselves, give ourselves something to really think and, ruminate upon a little to get into ourselves and help ourselves move forward. And today's quote is by Missy Elliott. Missy Elliott is a rapper. She will be very popular, among the Gen X and the millennials. And her words are telling us that you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. You do not get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now, Missy Elliott's words cut through the comfort of wishful thinking and place the responsibility squarely in our hands. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for, reminds us that the desire alone has no power without discipline. Wishing is passive. It imagines a better future without demanding change. Work, on the other hand, is active. It requires sacrifice, consistency, and the courage to keep going even when the results are slow or invisible. Now, this quote also speaks to accountability. It challenges us to look honestly at our outcomes and trace them back to our actions. Success, growth, and transformation are rarely accidents. They are the cumulative result of the choices we make daily, showing up, improving skills, learning from failure, refusing to quit. These are all some of the things that we do. These are some of the choices that we make daily. Motivation may come and go, but effort builds momentum. Now, finally, Missy Elliott's message is empowering. It is telling us that our dreams are not out of reach or dependent on luck. They are tied to how much we are willing to invest in ourselves. When we replace wishing with working, we move from hoping for change to becoming the reason the change happens. And this is just to tell us that, yes, somebody may have reached a feat or a level in life that, when you look at them, you wish you could get there. But it's not just about wishing. You need to also put in the work they put in. Just sitting down saying, I wish I were like this is not going to make it happen. But rather, you need to look into what the person did, whoever it is that's your mentor, whoever you admire, or even, so to say, even envy a little. Envy can be a good thing sometimes. That would ginger you to also move there. It's not just about wishing. And it even goes to all the other aspects of our lives. We wish we were rich. We wish we had the cars. What does that mean? It means that we're going to have to work to get those things. You can't sit in your house wishing for a car and then a car would magically appear. As they say, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Now, it's time for us to also get our weather forecast for the day. And this is a 24-hour impact-based forecast for Ghana from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. So let's have it displayed so you can take a look and we get into it. Now, the summary of this document here says that misty and foggy conditions are likely across the coastal, forested and mountainous areas of southern Ghana this morning amidst partly cloudy conditions. As the day advances, a mix of sunshine and clouds will prevail over southern Ghana from late afternoon into the evening. The development of rain-bearing clouds may trigger localized thunderstorms or rainfall over parts of the coast, inland areas, and the middle sector. Meanwhile, northern Ghana will remain dry and hazy throughout the forecast period, with sunny conditions expected during the afternoon. It's also key to note relatively cool night and early morning temperatures are expected over the upper regions. And this is signed by the Central Analysis and Forecast Office of the Ghana Meteorological Agency. So let us take note. Now, up next is the online and print review with my co-host, and we'll be bringing you a slight twist, so do stay tuned. You're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for the online and print review with my co-hosts here with me. This is the part 1 of the online and print review segment. The part 2 will be coming later in the show. And I would like to remind us to send our comments to the WhatsApp number displayed on our screens and also to the YouTube or Facebook live stream. When the phone lines are opened, you will be alerted so you can also call and weigh in on some of the issues being spoken about. Now, I have my co-hosts here with me, Miriam Abna-Dede and Clement Yapankwe. Good morning, lady and gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's a new week. How are we doing?
By God's grace, we are alive. We can't complain.
There is nothing to complain about.
Even if we have complaints, we'll swallow it.
I see. Right. Now, before we start the online and print review, we have a new twist we are bringing to the morning show where we give you the word of the day. So even if you are not able to retain anything, you get to learn at least one word today and enrich your vocabulary. So aside, trending issues and learning all about health and policies and all of that, you get to also enrich your vocabulary. So the word for today is tenacious. Tenacious, Tenacious, tenacious. So my co-host, do you understand tenacious? What do you understand by tenacious?
Oh, yeah, I thought you were going to give us the meaning since you're the one introducing the word to all of us. Oh, tenacious is a word we've all been using, but it comes subconsciously. We just use them because it suits in the sentence, but a lot of people do not really understand it. So we would really appreciate it if you give us the definition, and then we'll see if we can, we can use it to form a song or a sentence or a rap.
Right. So, Clement, what about you?
Since Mimi has spoken, I have nothing to say.
That's right. That's a responsible husband.
Tenacious means showing persistent determination, holding firmly to a goal, belief, or course of action despite obstacles, resistance, or discouragement. So basically, somebody who is tenacious is somebody who does not give up. And Michael always wants to use it in a sentence. So let's hear you. Since you've gotten the meaning now, someone who does not give up, basically.
So an example would be she's very tenacious with studies.
Right.
Somebody who does not give up is determined.
Yeah.
So I will not use the word tenacious, but I will use determination.
Exactly.
To say that when you are determined, you're able to attain your goals.
Right. So let's go quickly to some of the synonyms. That is the words that have similar meaning as tenacious. So like Clement said, we have determined, we have persistent, we have resolute, we have steadfast, and we have dogged. Then antonyms, the opposite. So if you are not tenacious, you are what? My students, if you are not tenacious, what are you?
You are lazy. You are lagging.
Clement, she has tried. She has used.
You are not focused. You are not focused.
Okay. So antonyms here says yielding, weak-willed, irresolute, lax. So someone who tends to just give up very easily, just based on the definition that they hold on to their beliefs or the course of actions they don't veer off. Someone who is the opposite of that tends to be rather laid back and easily influenced. So I hope that this word will, resonate in your mind. You can also check your dictionaries for it. Be reminded it is Tenacious, tenacious. Now, we go into the online and print review segments. Thank you so much for your contributions. Right. So, what's happening in our world? What are some of the things trending? What are some of the... I think you have your digitalized newspapers as well.
Yes.
Okay, so any news you've picked up before we go to the newspapers?
Okay, let me start with the international news. I have U.S. State Department revokes over 100,000 visas, and including 8,000 students and 2,500 specialized visas linked to criminal records.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that is what is happening.
What's the reason for this? Aside the criminal records or criminal activities, is there any other, like the students? Why are the students' visas being revoked?
For now, they are saying it's criminal records. let's say somewhere last week, in the course of the week, we heard even of our own former finance minister, issues regarding his visas, and people were making, it seems, because his visa has not yet expired, or his visa has not yet expired, it's going to expire somewhere 14th of February, but US has been able to detain him. But away from that, listening to a news briefing from the Attorney General, he says that his visa was actually revoked last year, somewhere July. So we are yet to know the reason behind all this happening. Okay. And this morning, we just chunk on this news that US is something they are doing. They are revoking visas.
Wow. But then, you know, with the news that came out with the Foreign Affairs Minister having some, you know, conversations with the US. I mean, this is Ghanaian visas, right? Or in general?
No, this is in general.
In general. Okay, so maybe the Ghanaian ones are not.
Exactly.
We're hoping so. Anyway, moving to you, Miriam, what other trend did you also pick up? I hear you have something very interesting.
Very, very interesting, because, I mean, Archbishop Duncan Williams is in the news again, and he's saying that we should discourage people from having weddings unless the man can prove he has 100,000 Ghana cedis in his bank account. And this is causing a lot of controversies online. A lot of people tend to be siding with this perception. A lot of men, actually, from the few comments I've seen, they are siding with Archbishop Duncan Williams. And then the ladies are also not really in support. I mean, we want the flashy weddings, we want the ceremony, we want people to see that our men can afford, you know, that kind of thing. Why are you telling us that, you know, marriages should not be encouraged if the man cannot prove that he has 100,000 Ghana cedis? We'll go for a loan. I mean, loans can be paid. So the video is circulating online.
Okay.
And I just want to remind our viewers that at 3 p.m., LTS would have an extended conversation on this. Okay. But we can still play the video. So
we're going to take a look at it, then we can also dissect it the best we can. So let's take a look at the video trending of Archbishop Duncan Williams speaking of marriage.
You don't want to begin your marriage with debt. Debt. Say debt. Yeah. You go to the honeymoon. And the phones begin to ring. And it's the lady who brought the chairs for the wedding. She's asking for her money. And the girl is, the woman is saying, what is that? Oh, nothing. Then another phone ring. The woman who provided the drinks. When can I get my money? Before you realize, the unction to function has gone. I'm ruling by the grace of God. Discourage people who want to have wedding until they can prove to us that if the man cannot prove that at least he have 100,000 cedis in his bank account, he shouldn't have a wedding. Bishop, I want you people to know this. I want us to stop this thing of these white weddings. And for you single women, stop this thing where you want the man to wed you. Stop this wedding. Marriage is not wedding. Because you see, I'm telling you this, and those of you who give people money to go and marry, who don't have, if they don't have money, they shouldn't marry. Because marriage is not love. Love don't buy provision. Love don't pay the bills. I'm not saying we shouldn't help people who want to marry.
Right, so that was the Archbishop Duncan Williams. And I think from what I picked up from the video, he didn't say they shouldn't marry. He said weddings. Yeah. The whole white wedding, flashy thing. If you want to do that one, you need to prove that you have at least 100,000 Ghana cedis. Because when you started, you mentioned marriage. So I was a bit skeptical that why shouldn't they marry? Should they rather live in sin? You know. But then watching the video, it's clear.
But you look so happy. Why?
It's funny. It's a bit amusing because it's been a conversation that comes and goes based on culture. That our indigenous African or Ghanaian culture, where what we call engagement these days, is actually the marriage. Yeah. So usually there are schools of thoughts and debates that there's no need for this and
White
in the
wedding,
church and the white wedding and go and change your gown and do this and do that. The families have come together. That should be it. But then we find people going into debt because of that. So
yeah, I'm happy that the Archbishop himself is talking about this, because most of the times the pressure comes from the pastors. Some pastors will insist that you've done engagements, but still come and do the church wedding. We want you to wear your gown because we want to see if you've not fornicated or not. Because when you put the veil on the woman, it is assumed that you've never seen her nakedness. And so come to church, let's pray over the marriage, and then you have a successful marriage. But, I mean, people are being pressured. That white wedding comes with a whole lot of costs. Decoration, the gown itself. Reception. Now,
honeymoon.
Photographers are even charging more than...
Photography, videography, bloggers.
More than... I am a bridal makeup artist. I don't even charge... I don't charge much.
She's doing advertisement.
But I mean, photographers, decor, the food. At first, we used to have our aunties, mothers cook for us, and then
but
these
now
days,
catering services, even having an event planner, having an ushering service. There are people whose job it is to come and be the ones to usher people.
Don't you have siblings?
The goodie bag.
Don't you have siblings?
Sister of the bride, I'm dressed. I'm coming to also represent, And this conversation is really good, as you said, it's really good that he's coming out with it, because it's costing a lot of people. And like you said, these pastors pressuring them, if we are being realistic, it won't work. Some people have probably lived in iniquity for so long and decided to marry. They will still wear the white. So the essence of that whole white thingy, it has been lost.
On the white wedding day, they take 2 offerings. Usually the first one, they don't announce who the money is going to. so they take that offering and then they give it to the church. And then the second one, they'll tell you, oh, where are you from? Meanwhile, people have given already.
Right.
So the church is also benefiting from the wedding.
Exactly. And then I think with what you even said about making sure they are both virgins or something.
Yeah.
Nowadays, what I usually hear is that they would, conduct a pregnancy test for the lady.
Yeah.
To be sure that she's not hiding something.
If you are conducting a pregnancy test,
because they know the youth of today.
You get it. People should invest in counseling. Counseling is rather important.
Let's hear from you, Clement.
I see how when this conversation came up, the 2 ladies are happily discussing it. Yes, because when it comes to marriage and its related activities, men try to leave everything to the circle of the ladies.
Yeah.
Because you want the big. Yeah. Mostly it's not the guys. The guys, for us, we did one corner.
It's very true. I'm a lady. I know what you're talking about.
So for the guys, we did one corner. What you people want is what we do.
But can you afford what we want?
So
That's the problem.
That is when Archbishop came in. Can I afford what you want? If I can't afford, I won't kill myself. That is the first point. And how do you communicate to your partner? Sit her down. Make her know your account. I always say that marriage is when you become open to each other.
Exactly.
If assuming Mimi and myself, if Mimi knows my account, knows how much I earn a month, and we are planning for marriage, we plan based we plan based on what is in my account. But some guys would come as if they have the world to themselves.
Yes.
So if you present yourself as someone who has money, then the lady would presume, because the lady has already made it known to his friends, his family, that my guy has a Jaguar, he has Jeep, he has this, he does this. So with that thing, the lady has a lot of expectation, and his friends also have a lot of expectation. But for us to move away from this kind of attitude, this kind of behavior, is that let the lady knows how much you earn. Even if you don't have money, the lady will be so willing to come on board with her finances, and you guys will make it together. On the other hand, on the other hand, the aspect of wedding and marriage, as Archbishop was talking about, white wedding is something that we adopted from our colonial masters. So I believe that Nanka, Nifen say why traditional marriage engagements no so for abefie ebishraso,
which is legal,
which is very legal.
It is legal.
Yes. Which is not even the one in church, and that is the best one to go if you can afford the white wedding, going to the church, having dozens of cars, parading. If you can afford, fine. But if you can't afford, my sister, my brother, don't kill yourself.
Some parents too contribute to the pressure.
My only daughter, she must spoil the whole account. She must train.
So that is the whole issue. And the youth too. I always put the blame a little bit on the guys. Yes. Let them know who you are.
Speaking about finances too, I think what I'll add to this conversation is that from the moment Clement proposes to Miriam, you have as much time as you want to plan your wedding. Yeah. And you both, maybe you want an extra, Miriam is her mother's only daughter, she must spoil town. You plan towards that, you save. If you know that, okay, immediately you cannot afford whatever grand wedding you're looking at, plan, okay, in a year, how much are we going to, accumulate together and put into it? If it won't reach, move it to the next year, add 6 months. Or maybe save vigorously for it, but killing yourselves, like he was even saying, they're going into debt. For loan. You go for loan. By the time you even finish paying the loan, or don't know how much start at it.
And that's one contributing factor to most divorces. Because, from the beginning, they didn't communicate. They didn't have any proper budget. Yeah. All they were seeing was a flashy wedding. The number of people that are going to come. And so when you enter into the marriage, you now start regretting. Because when you get married, let me tell you, when you are single, you have so many benefits. Seriously, people can just give you money. A man, as a lady, a man can just give you money. Oh, you're beautiful, take this. But the moment you get married, they see that you're wearing a ring. You're on your own. So you see,
you have the man who will be giving you money.
So those extra monies you thought you were getting and made you feel that you had money, it has stopped. So you see,
and there's also this. I think it's a world, is the whole world. This the whole patriarchal system where the man is the provider. So even you realize that Archbishop was talking about the fact that the lady provided this, so now she wants reimbursement. So Miriam and Clement could be getting married. Miriam will say, okay, I'll pay for catering. When they get home, Papa Clement, invoice because you are the man, you are expected to provide. So since I've helped you, you must.
It's a partnership.
That is the perception. Yeah, that is the perception. Like when it comes to marriage, it should be two people coming together as one, not as two. That is what I just want to say. And we will not as LTS said they will dive into it, so I just don't want to talk much on that.
LTS will bring you every conversation that.
Right. So this one is a Koko Digest Morning Show. We are just touching a bit on it so that you get interested in Gingered for LTS later today, right?
Exactly.
Later today. Okay.
3 p.m.
Now, away from the marriage, let's go to the last trend. Then we go to our newspapers. Else, my producer will
Yes. So we have an issue with firefighters. We saw videos circulating where some firefighters were injured as their engine veered off the road during a distress response. And it has called for, so many conversations. What is happening? Logistically, what is the problem? Because when you see how the car veered off, it was I don't know how to describe it.
Let's take a look at the video so we get a better description.
Ghana, so you know, fire service cars have a top for more. Fire service cars have a top for. Brother, do you also have an accident? Fire service. I did some Kurani. Ghana, so you know, fire service. Fire service. It's a car doesn't have a top from no. A Janos national. A giant do Carlos has a top from and there's some Kurani Ghana. Elradi. Fire service cars have a top from Elradi.
Right, so that was the video that Miriam was finding a bit of difficulty to explain.
Because of the commentary behind the video. You are taking a video of a critical issue like this And you are making fun of it. Yeah, whoa, hey, yeah.
Oh, no, it's not fun. He's trying to describe the scene.
Well, you know, we tend to use some sort of amusement to sort of cushion the gravity of whatever tragedy is happening so that we don't really fall apart. Because as we could see, there's a fire there, very big, pretty big fire, and then the fire service truck has capsized. What if it also just explodes? There's a whole lot to talk about. And I remember that in some of the previous conversations, over some months back where we were speaking with fire service personnel here, they spoke about the fact that maintenance of their vehicles, some of their vehicles they got are so old and they are the ones, you know, trying their best to maintain them. They don't particularly get upgraded, you know, equipment as often as, you know, would be needed. And could this be as a result? Because it's not a tarred road. Okay, even though it's as an untarred road, it's pretty smooth. It looks quite smooth. So could it be that the smoothness of the road was a problem? Is it their tires that have gotten the wear and tear and gotten too smooth or something? There's a whole lot to actually unpack in this video. Was it that the driver was also speeding to get there? Was the truck overloaded with water that it's, you know, turned the car? You know, I think we need to unpack this together.
So looking at the video, you could tell that just as you are describing the road, it's not hard. It's a bit rough. And you as a driver, you know you are driving in a curve. I mean, the speed. You could tell that he was driving with speed. Maybe it was because of the height of the emergency. They wanted to get there as soon as possible. But in as much as you are doing that, you have to also look out for yourself as a personnel, that I shouldn't end up, you know, injuring myself, just like what we saw in the video. And so I think the problem is not with the maintenance of their vehicles, or it's the individual, you know, engagement or involvement in this whole thing. Yes, you're a driver. You've been driving the vehicle for God knows how long. So you should know how to drive.
But not to defend them, though. This is a country where the firefighters tend to get attacked that he didn't come early. He's speeding to our main speedy. You know, these are some things that can come up as questions.
At the scene. I mean, so what is the need for the speed?
I think I will come in from the points. For now, we don't have a report to tell us what actually caused this accident. So if we should associate it to the fact that the driver was overspeeding, one way or the other, we might be right, we might be wrong. And accidents can be as a result of anything at all. Maybe he lost brake failure or one tie or something else. But what I want to talk about in this very video that is on the screen is the fact that how the citizens speedily and that they had that kind of agency to go to their rescue was the fact I want to talk about. That talks about how Ghanaians we are. We are very hospitable and we love, we care for one another. If for other places, like when this car just turned upside down or just turned, nobody would have approached the incident because they might fear that the car itself would end up catching fire. But looking at this incident, they even break the windscreen to try to pick the people. People were even in the tanker. Some of the fire service people, they all came out. So even though there was fire outbreak, they still had the agency or they had the zeal to look out for the life of the people who were coming to rescue them. That is the first thing I would like to talk about. The second thing I would like to talk about is the fact that Ghana National Fire Service have been complaining about their equipment, some of their logistics they use in the operations, and how some of them are very outdated or they are very old and they need retooling. Of which somewhere last year we heard the government talking about retooling the Ghana National Fire Service. It is something I think government is supposed to do as soon as possible. Because looking at these people, 5 of them, they were on their way to save a situation. When you look at them, behind them, that was a fire outbreak. They are on their way to save that situation. So if they, assuming had an accident and unfortunately for them, all of them lost their life, what would have happened to the situation there and also to their life. So I think that in as much as these people are there to save life, we need to put better things in place for themselves, for their life as whole. There is a saying that who watches over the watchman? There are those watching over us in terms of fire outbreak. But what are the things we are putting in place for them as individuals who have taken up this mantle to protect the nation in terms of fire outbreak? So these are the things I just want to put out there. That one, let us retool the Ghana National Fire Service. Two, Ghanaians, let's respond to emergency situations as quick as possible, as we saw even in the video. And lastly, I would like to talk about is that the maintenance culture of Ghanaians and also our institution is something that needs to be looked at critically.
Right. So there's also news that some of the firefighters were injured, but no casualties were recorded. So we are thankful to God for that. Miriam, before we go, do you have anything to also add to the
I think Clement has said it all. And considering the number of outbreaks we've been experiencing, we just have to be each other's keeper. I mean, if you notice something unusual, unusual smell from somebody's room, don't say you're minding your business. Find out what is happening there. Maybe the person could be sleeping or the person is outside, so you can save the situation before even the fire service, comes to the scene.
All right.
So just that.
And the maintenance culture issue you mentioned, there is a point where it's no longer about maintenance culture. I don't particularly remember the key details of that conversation, but I remember that the fire service officer we had here talked about some fire service trucks or equipment that was brought in the 19-somethings. So let's give or take, after 20 years of use, is it still a maintenance issue? It needs an upgrade, changing, because there will be wear and tear, there will be repairs, there will be replacements, but what's the word? You know how even technology, now we don't see Nokia 3310 again because it is no longer something that could meet the needs we have now. So trucks that were produced in the 1980s or used in the 1980s, today we have technology advancing to certain levels. It will rather be that we need to upgrade these vehicles rather than say that we are maintaining them. So it's not to counter you though, but just saying that at some point, maintenance does not do anything for them. Because, even with the helicopter issue, where we lost our 8 gallant heroes, there was a conversation about the fact that the helicopter was also manufactured at a certain time past, that we need to procure more modern, helicopters and equipment for the Air Force. This is also a similar issue. What do you think?
Yeah, so in my submission, if you listened, I talked about retooling and I talked about maintenance. Retooling is a fact that government has pledged or has promised the Ghana National Fire Service of getting new logistics. And if they get a new logistics, what are we looking for? There should be maintenance. We shouldn't wait for it to go total destroyed. It needs to be damaged before we ask for new ones. No, let us maintain the ones we have. Let us put them in good use. And in so doing, everything will be on its.
So that's why I said I wasn't countering you. I was saying that after a certain period of time, the maintenance no longer helps the issue. You see, if the last truck they had is over 20 years, how much maintenance could keep that truck still running? You see, so like you're saying, I think what we want to communicate is that as the government is promising to retool and bring more equipment, upgrade the systems, it should be in intervals that are that make sense. Not we should wait for 20 years before we find a more modern fire truck or a more modern fire hose or the CPR machines and all of that. We've moved from even using our hands to using a machine so that you don't go and harm anybody or all of those things. So it was more of a building on what you were saying, because look at even our churches now. Some of these churches are so old. When you sit and it touches you, you have to go and get a tetanus shot. You see, because the things are so rusted. And sometimes you see the car coming here like, this thing. So sometimes you even look at the car before you decide whether you want to board it, because it doesn't look like it will take you far before it will break down, because it is that old. Anyway, let's go to our newspapers quickly, then we wrap up for the next
Before
segment.
I go to newspaper, I have this news It's about Ghana Police Service.
Okay.
They've started the recruitment process. Yesterday, they started with the body selection and documentation of into the Ghana Police Service. It started yesterday. It will end on the 15th of this very month. Yesterday, those in Greater Accra, they were at the Ghana Police Church at Odoko. They were in badges. I think they took a clue from what happened regarding Ghana Armed Forces. So they were in badges, first morning badge, afternoon badge. Today, we have a couple of people going there, and tomorrow to the same thing. So I think it's a good thing they are doing. We just want to tell the applicants that they should comport themselves and abide by all the rules and regulations laid down.
So you mentioned, what was the term? Body selection?
Yeah.
Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, so it's basically about your height.
Okay.
They just want to check your height, and so they'll look at certain parts, scalps and all that stuff. They have some peculiar things they'll be looking out for.
Okay, right. So is that something that is also in the requirements when the applicant is starting?
Exactly.
Okay. Right. So let's take notes. Those of you who want to apply to the Ghana Police Service, this is your chance. And if you have applied, all the best to you. Miriam.
Yes. So before I also move to my graphic, last week we came here and we're talking about a school fees increment from the University of Ghana. Now, GTEC has approved the fees. It is not, an increment on the fee the students are going to be paying, like the academic fees. No,
right.
It is just SRC dues, SRC development levy, and GRASAC levy. These are just the fees that have been increased, and GTEC is approving of that. These are students' affairs, things that will help in upgrading students' life on campus. And so that is the update we have for our viewers today. Now, I have the Mirror newspaper with me, and on the front page, we have two beautiful ladies. They are twins, Ivy and Ivy. They got married on the same day.
So beautiful.
That's so beautiful. You can't even tell who is who.
How the names are even the same. So who is who? It's Ivy and Ivy.
Their husbands really have, something to do with. And then someone is also asking, can I sue my husband for forcibly having sex with me? That is a question someone is also asking. Tie and dye tops ready to wear fashion pics for season. That is also the news over there. Once we are talking about marriage and the amount of money we should have in our accounts, others are also having issues with being intimate with their partners. Somebody that has paid your bride price, you are saying the person is forcing you.
No, Miriam, let's calm down. Because for that conversation,
we'll have it another
it does
day.
not. It's not.
I think I'll leave you for it.
Paying bride price
But you
does
move
not
into details.
warrant consent. So let's
For
be
what
careful.
For what I know,
with that.
Everything you have as a woman is handed over to the man.
Well, I think maybe we'll get a resource personnel to come and talk about that, because being asked to do something you don't want to do is force. And the law talks about, forcibly having sex with somebody. All these things are very dicey when it comes to marriage. But there is the trend, or I think in some countries, there's something called marital rape. Just because you are the person's spouse doesn't mean that if they don't want to be intimate with you, you should force them and say, but you're my husband, but you're my wife. You have to respect the person's agency as a human being with feelings. So the fact that you've paid bride price or you've agreed doesn't mean you are the person's property, or you do. It's similar to saying, okay, mommy chop money. Me niska by force, mommy chop money. What about that?
Yeah, we hardly talk about that because women do that a lot. Disgrace the husband.
And even if it's not talked about, it doesn't mean it is right. But the whole point is, as a human being, consent needs to be given at every point in time. Anyway. Clemens, what about your newspaper?
I have graphic business. This topic, it's interesting.
We'll get a resource person to.
I have a graphic business, actually, Ira. On the front page, you have NPA pilots 24-hour fuel station operations. They want to go 24 hours. I don't know. This is not new to me. And we also have BOG to set up subsidiary to manage idle funds. Page 3 of the graphic business. Into details, you get the news there. Also, what Ghanaians consume most last year. When you go to page 10 of the graphic business, you get such news there. So the interesting is about the fact that NPA pilot 24 fuel station operations. And as I said, this is not new in the system. We have some fuel stations already operating 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I have worked in a fuel station before. So as at then, we're working 24 hours. And it's not new. The only thing I think the NPA need to take into consideration is the security of these people who works 24 hours, and how they are going to make sure that even at that time, what do you call passengers, drivers would be able to drive safely into the fuel station to fuel their cars or their vehicles, and they go. Or if they are going to do it electronically or any other means, it's a way that need to be looked at. Because over the years, the reports we had is even broad day robbery, even at some fuel stations, and now going 24-hour with all fuel stations, or let's say some selected ones, is something that needs to be looked at in terms of security.
Right. So you mentioned that you've worked in a fuel station where they were going 24 hours. I think we would like to ask you, how were the shift systems like? Is it 8 hours, 6 hours, 4 hours? So that maybe as they are piloting this 24-hour thing, maybe they can look at how to run the shift system that it would benefit the employees.
So from where I was working, we had 3 different shifts.
Okay.
So you come in the morning, 6 a.m. Already there's a shift that works at night. So you come take over from at 6 a.m. So by 6, 7, you take over. You work roughly to somewhere 3 p.m., 3 to 4 p.m., and another different shift comes over to take over from you. So they will work throughout from 3 p.m. through the night. The reason why they go through the night is because we assume that during the midnight, vehicles don't normally come as frequent as it used to do in the day. So they will work from that time to early morning, and another shift comes to take over. But when you go through that process, you have an off day. They give you period off, probably 2 days, 3 days period off, and that shift takes over. Because in as much as you want me to work 24 hours, they look at your health status is very, very important. So I think that is what we were doing in our organization.
Right. Thank you so much for enlightening us on that. So yes, maybe the 24-hour system would be looked at properly so that these things will also be considered. And our roads need lighting. We heard about street lights and things for a while, lighting up Accra. It came up and then it's died down. What's happening? And then we even heard about street lights getting stolen or something.
It hasn't died down. It's just that some communities will benefit and others will not. And so if you happen not to see the street lights at some certain places, it means it hasn't gotten there yet.
Okay.
They are still
on it.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So hopefully that will also be sped up so that our workers can be safe and see the faces of their attackers. This is a quick reminder to send your comments to the WhatsApp number displayed onto your screen and also to the YouTube or Facebook live stream. When the phone lines are opened, you will be alerted to also call us. Now, the segment is wrapping up and I'd like to hear any final trends, any other interesting things before we go. I'm hearing something about finance minister.
Well, mine is not like a trend. It's just something to guide our viewers, those that are setting goals for themselves. I just want to say that the goal shouldn't be the focus, but rather we should put structures in place, things that will help us or guide us in the process of getting that reward or results we want from our goals. And so, yes, we've set our New Year resolutions and all that, but don't make the goal your focus. Make the process your focus. And at the end of the day, you realize that you've gotten the results even without knowing. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I think, let me just add something to what Mimi has said. In as much as you're making the process the focus, take a critical look at structures and systems laid down by human. Sometimes human structures and systems would tell you that you are nobody.
Yeah.
Systems would make you see yourself inferior. Because you couldn't attain your goal in 2025, it doesn't make you a failure, or you are not described as someone who can't make it. That is what the system of this world will tell you.
Yeah.
Because you're not able to attain your goal. You're not able to save the amount of money you wanted to save in 2025.
Yeah.
You intend to marry. You were not able to get married. That doesn't make you a failure.
Yeah.
So that is what I would also want to adapt to what Mimi is saying. But rather have a positive mind.
Exactly.
That is the way to go.
Right.
Have a positive mind. No matter what, you'll still be able to attain what you want to attain.
Okay, thank you so much. Up next is...
I forgot to just add, no matter what, we are talking about persistence, and so tenacious.
You, tenacity. You. Let's hear you.
Oh no, I've said it. I mean,
Okay, so
you should have used it in the same thing.
So up next is the lifestyle segment, and we're going to be learning about cervical cancer awareness. Even though this may be for women's health, it is also very, very prudent that as men, we also tune in and watch and learn something. So call a friend, text a friend, and join in the lifestyle segment right after this break.
Yeah, welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show here on Clock TV. I am Miriam Abna Adedi. Now, the month of January is here, and when we talk about January, we know it is associated with cervical cancer. And today on the lifestyle segment, we are just here to create awareness of cervical cancer. We've been doing this each and every time. It is time for that discussion. And so we have a guest we'll be calling on the phone to speak with. She's actually a midwifery officer, I beg your pardon, at St. John's God Hospital. Now, let me tell you the objective of today's conversation. We are here to just raise awareness about cervical cancer by educating the public on prevention, early detection, risk factors, and available treatment options. The discussion aims to encourage regular screening, promote HPV vaccination, dispel myths surrounding cervical cancer, and empower women to take proactive steps towards protecting their reproductive health, while also engaging families, communities, and healthcare providers in supportive action. And that is just that. Our guest is Mrs. Cynthia Adowa. Just as I mentioned earlier, she's a midwife with the St. John's God Hospital. And the topic is cervical cancer awareness. She's joined us on the line. Hello, madam. Okay, so we are working on that. But just as I told you earlier, the conversation is about cervical cancer. And just as you know, the month of January is all about cervical cancer awareness. And we have our objective to just raise awareness about cervical cancer by educating the public on prevention, early detection, risk factors, and available treatment options. Now, the discussion I mentioned earlier aims to encourage regular screening, promote HPV vaccination, dispel myths surrounding cervical cancer, and empower women to take proactive steps towards protecting their reproductive health, while also engaging families, communities, and healthcare providers in supportive action. This is actually not the first time we are having this conversation. It is also not the second time we are having this conversation on the Koko Digest Morning Show. Because we care about your lifestyle, because we care about you at home, we want you to live healthy. And how can we live healthy? By having, early information about issues like this, things that, are with regards to our reproductive system. It is very important that we have conversations surrounding that to create an awareness for you. So our guest, Mrs. Cynthia Adowa, a midwife at St. John's God Hospital, has joined us on the line. Hello, madam.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, and a happy new year to you and your viewers.
Many happy returns. Thank you so much for your time. We are speaking on the issue of cervical cancer. We are creating awareness since the month of January is here. And we would like to just start by understanding what cervical cancer is.
Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me and then the opportunity.
Okay.
So to begin with, we say cervical cancer is a type of cancer that starts in the cervix, okay, or affects the cervix. The simpler way to understand is it's a cancer that affects the cervix or starts from the cervix. And now what is this cervix that we are talking about? The cervix is the lower narrow part of the uterus. That's the womb, okay, that connects the uterus to the vagina. Okay. So you see that the cervix is in the middle. The vagina is there first, cervix in the middle before you get to the uterus, which we all know as the womb. Okay. So that is where the cervix is located. That is where we can find it. So cervical cancer develops at this place when normal cells in that particular area, which is the cervix, undergo abnormal changes and then begin to grow uncontrollably. Okay. So that is what cervical cancer is. Now, how does this cervical cancer develop there? Okay. So, as I said, we have normal cervical cells. There are cells there that are normal. They are supposed to live their normal life. They grow, they divide, and then die in an orderly way later. Okay. But here comes HPV, which is human papillomavirus infection. When someone is infected with this HPV, that's human papillomavirus, this virus goes there to change everything over there. So let's look at what this HPV is. So as I said, it's called human papillomavirus, and it's very common. That is a common sexually transmitted virus. It's common. And it's part of the sexually transmitted diseases or infections. Okay, it's a virus, and it's very common. A common group of viruses. We are in a group, and there are about 200 types of them that spread mainly through skin-to-skin contact, and then most often they spread through sexual activity. Most of these infections, which is the HPV, they clear on their own when one is infected. It goes on its own. But when it becomes persistent at a particular area, or it's highly infectious, that is well high risk type, like the HPV, the HPV 16 and 18, which are highly infectious and high risk type. They damage these cervical cells at the normal cervical cells. Then they begin to cause the cancer.
Okay.
So these changes, they interfere there. When they get there, they interfere with the normal move of the cervical cell. And then they begin to show abnormal changes, known as precancerous lesions. So you see lesions over there because they've gone to disrupt the normal activity of the cervix. Then at this stage, you see that no symptoms, you don't see any symptoms. You can't even detect unless screening or test is done. So when it happens this way, it takes like 10 to 20 years even before people can detect it.
Wow.
And when it happens fast, sometimes it happens faster in people who have weakened immune system. So something small about cancer that we are supposed to know.
Okay.
Now looking at cancer, so
I just want to know how common is this particular type of cancer and who is at risk when it comes to cervical cancer?
Okay, thank you so much. So cervical cancer now is very common. It's very common. Ghana here we are saying cervical cancer. It's not just Ghana. Global, worldwide, in Africa, everywhere. So when we looking at how common it is, cervical cancer worldwide is the fourth most commonly diagnosed cancer that we know now. So breast cancer comes first, lung cancer comes second, colorectal cancer, and then cervical cancer. So worldwide is number 4 on the list. And then in 2022, there were about 660,000 new cases and around 350,000 deaths came from cervical cancer alone. So around 90 to 94% of cervical cancer deaths, they occur in low-income countries like ours because most of the times we detect them late. Okay. In Africa, too, like that, every year women are diagnosed and die from cervical cancer. So about 23 per 100,000 women die from it annually. Now, when we come to Ghana, Ghana is no exception. Cervical cancer is also very common, and it is the second common cancer among women in Ghana. Breast cancer is the number 1 on the list. Okay, so everywhere, and the risk factors, keep increasing. So some of these, as I said earlier, when the HPV virus becomes persistent there in the cervix, so the risk factor is when some HPV virus becomes very persistent. Then when early sexual activity or one has multiple sexual partners, they are also at risk. When someone is smoking, it weakens the cervical cell defense, the defenses. But then also people with HIV, because their immune systems are weakened, it's weak. Then lack of regular cervical screening. When you don't screen regularly, you might not know. We are also at risk. Then we have long-term use of oral contraceptives. So when we use contraceptives for too much a long time, it can also expose, that's the oral contraceptive can also expose us to that.
I see. Now, you spoke about HPV virus, and I know since it's a virus, there should be a vaccine. How effective is the vaccine, and who is, right to receive that particular vaccine? Okay.
So, in fact, almost all the cases of cervical cancer, like we said, 95% are caused by persistent infection of high-risk HPV type. So with the HPV vaccine effectiveness, it is highly effective. And with the highly effectiveness, it prevents infection with the HPV type that causes most cancer, most of the cervical cancers, and then other several types. So the vaccine, number one, its major role is that it prevents about 90 to 95% of cervical cancers when given before exposure to HPV. Okay, it's been given before the exposure to HPV. It is very effective. It is also very effective when the high-grade cancer is in humans, when we are able to get it quickly, it prevents, and then we don't graduate to the next level. So the side effects are always mild and then mild, so pain at the injection site and those things. So it is highly effective. That's what I can say.
Okay. And you mentioned that, or in my intro, I mentioned that we need early detection to help us stay safe. Now, why is it important that people have regular screening, the pap smears, the HPV testing, among others? Why is it important?
Okay, thank you. So it is very, very important and very crucial at this moment, at this stage, because we are now creating the awareness. So we have to know why, people have to know the why behind what we are doing. Now, just looking at the number of deaths and the problems that cervical cancer is causing, it's important for us to get to know, because when you get to know, to screen early, screening doesn't just go that I'm going to screen. But because it's developed slowly, you may not know what is happening in the system. So when you are able to screen early, it helps to detect this a problem. And then when there is a need for treatment, we are able to treat or prevent quickly. So when we detect, we prevent it, then we also treat as quickly as possible. That is why it is very important to get to detect to go for screening. So when we do the pap smear, it helps to detect the abnormal cells. So we are not doing it to detect the abnormal cells. If you go early and then no cells are detected, the abnormal cells are not detected, it is too late. So the HPV test also, we have the pap smear and then the HPV test. So the HPV test also helps to know the type that causes the cancer. That's what the HPV test does. So when we go there, it helps you that you know the type that is causing the cancer, and then you know how to handle it from that stage. Okay. So early detection also is very great, and it improves the survival rate. That is what I can see. And then the treatment is also simpler and more effective. When they detect anything, it becomes simpler and more effective. And then fertility also may sometimes be preserved. It doesn't get to the worst stage.
Okay. So at what age should women start cervical cancer, screening? Because I asked who was at risk. You didn't mention a age frame or, that kind of a range. So at what particular age should a woman start going for cervical cancer screening? And how often should it be done?
Okay. So with the age for the vaccine, okay, let me handle that age before coming for the screening. Okay. For the age for the vaccine, we have young girls from 9 years to 14 years. Okay, that's for the vaccine. And then we also vaccinate boys also from the same ages. For Ghana here, it is good news to us because last year we launched the vaccination for young girls. We are starting with young girls now. Yeah. So we are vaccinating young girls from age 9 to 14. Maybe later boys will be added because this is the age that when you vaccinate them, they are protected before they become sexually active. Okay. That is why we do that. That is the particular age now. But any other person can go in for the vaccination. But for the boys also in particular, when they are vaccinated, they may not give it to the girls again. So when we come to what age should women begin the cancer screening, we have it in bits. So from 21 years to 29 years, women can start screening. Okay, no one should screen when they are below 21 years. Okay, so that's the age from 21 to 29 years. They can do the pap smear, maybe like 3 times every 3 years. They can do the pap smear every 3 years. And then also women ages 30 to 65, they can also do the HPV test every 5 years. That's their preferred choice. Or they can also do both the pap smear and then the HPV test every 5 years, depending on what you want to do. You can also do the pap smear alone. Okay. For women 55 years and above, it's assumed that at least most of them from their ages, these ages that I've mentioned, they've had a number of these tests. So from 65 years and above, if there is nothing during those times, there is no need going for the screening again. Because some have gone for it, they are vaccinated, and then they can go. But sometimes too, in cases where people have low immune system, like HIV or those types, or they are exposed to some things in life, they can, recommendation, they can go more than the number of times or the year interval that has been prescribed now. They can do lesser years, depending on how their immune system is working with them.
Okay. Now let's look at some signs and symptoms of cervical cancer. What can we see to tell that we are developing cervical cancer?
Okay. Please, the question again?
Of cervical cancer or cervical cancer.
Okay.
Yes, we want to know some symptoms or signs when it comes to cervical cancer.
Okay. So as I said earlier, cervical cancer develops slowly, so you wouldn't know. Okay. So sometimes as women, most of us, daily activities and some of 1 or 2 challenges that we have, we may see some of these signs and we ignore or we assume that it is part of our normal routine. Yeah. So we shouldn't joke with some of these signs when we see them. Abnormal vaginal bleeding. You know, we have our normal monthly flow, okay, but when it's becoming abnormal, these are some of the ways that will help you to know. The abnormal bleeding, we have bleeding between periods, okay. You know, after menses, you know that maybe this month, approximately from this date, I might start again. But between that, you see that you are bleeding. You shouldn't take it lightly. Then bleeding after sex, after every sexual intercourse, there is bleeding. Bleeding after menopause. So after menopause, you are not supposed to bleed again. So when you realize you are bleeding after menopause, it's not a safe thing. Then we have periods that are heavier or last longer than usual. You know that some come heavier with blood and they last longer. Maybe 4 days, it becomes 7, 8, or 10 days, which is not safe. Then aside the bleeding, we have a pain. You have a pelvic pain. Especially it doesn't even related to it's not related to your menstrual cycle. During menses, we have this mild pain that we feel. But this pain looks different. So you must know your body and know when things are changing like this in the body. Then you have pain during sexual intercourse also. With the more advanced stages, that's a persistent stage, there will be back pain, severe back pain. There will be swelling on the legs and then difficulty urinating or difficulty urinating. You can even have blood in the urine or blood in your stool. Then unexplained weight loss. When you do something small, you are tired. That's fatigue. So these are some of the signs and symptoms that you would get to know that there is something wrong with there.
Okay, so let's look at some lifestyle, activities or choices we can engage in to help us prevent cervical cancer.
Okay. So the activities that we can. Let me get it well.
Yes, we are looking at some lifestyle activities that we can engage in to help us prevent cervical cancer. Anything that we can do that is part of our lives. I mean, normal activities that we can all engage in to help prevent we getting cervical cancer. That is what we want to know.
For us is to do the screening. Okay. When you get screened, that's the the first one you have to get screened. It's a lifestyle activity that you are engaging in. If you get screened on time, you are free to go. Okay. And then also, when it's detected, you shouldn't take care not to continue with treatment. Just go for your treatment. So these are then also sorry. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. We are listening.
Okay. So as I said, the early screening, you have to screen so that it will help you. And then the vaccinate, that's part of the lifestyle activity. You have to also vaccinate and then take sexual behavior. Okay. So you have to use condoms during sexual intercourse, or you'll be faithful to your partner if possible. Then also, if you can abstain, fine. Then also, avoid smoking, as we said earlier, that women who smoke, it weakens the cervical so you have to also avoid smoking, and then you have to eat healthy. You have to eat healthy. Okay. These are some of the lifestyle activities.
I forgot to ask you about the HPV vaccine. Is it free or it comes at a cost?
Pardon?
The vaccine, is it free or you have to pay something?
You have to pay something. For the vaccine, the vaccine is there all right, but it comes with a cost. Okay. And then sometimes with the one that we just launched last year for the girls, that one is free. Okay. So people came to the communities and places to just vaccinate the young girls. But when you want to vaccinate now, I encourage that we use this month as the awareness month. We take advantage of this particular month and then get vaccinated, because the vaccine is a bit expensive. But during this time, during the awareness month time, it's reduced, and then people can also go in and then vaccinate. So it comes with a cost. It's not free.
Oh, okay. Now, we are about to wrap up, but we want to know how can families, partners, communities help support people fighting cervical health, or cervical cancer? How can we help people in such situations?
Okay. So you see, sometimes because of the way we handle issues and matters at home, at our workplaces and wherever, that is why when people find out some of these problems, they are not able to voice out.
Yeah.
So we are doing these things just to encourage all of us. It's not a good thing. So we are all coming together to help fight it or support. So you have a role to play, I have a role to play, the men have their roles to play. So when we look at the partners, you can also provide emotional support for women at this time. It's not easy saying I'm going to the hospital to go and get a test kit. I want to test for cervical cancer. No, it's not easy. Psychologically, you are scared. You are not stable. What if I go and it's positive or something? How would my life be? You see, so these are the times that our partners, our husbands, our brothers have to push us and support us. That you give us the encouragement to go ahead, to go and then get tested. Some might not even have money to go. These times you can also support the person. I will put the bill. Let's go. So when we encourage our women like this, you see, it becomes easier. We feel safer to share our problems, our stories with each other. So let's avail ourselves. Maybe, let me take care of the kid, or let me hold the kid, and then you go inside, go and come. Whatever happens, I'm with you. Sometimes these things encourages the women. So, and then also for the family. Family also comes sometimes. The little gossip, the myths that we talk about, when someone even have it, that maybe that is the beginning stage that can be prevented or maybe treated because of our myths and misconceptions about it. Maybe she went to have multiple sexual partners. She was not faithful to her husband or her partner. That is why. So families, we should also check how we talk to such people. We should also be careful the way we will act when we see people like that. We should rather be supportive and then not be judgmental. When there is a need to help at home with chores or something, let's avail ourselves and then support them. Community too has its role to play. We are in a community, and a lot of people in the community, some people don't even know what we are talking about. They've not even heard of it before. Even if they've heard of it on radio, on TV, some of them are not, because of fear, they don't even want to sit down to listen to what is the next. But let's be conscious, let's be persistent, so that we can spread this and then make people aware of what is happening around us. So maybe organize communal talks, meetings in the community. We do communal labor. During these activities, when we are done, we can sit as we rest. We invite people to come and talk to our people in the community. It will go a long way to let women know what is happening around them and then how to support and then handle issues like this when it happens.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Cynthia Adua. Is there something you would like to tell our viewers? Lastly.
Okay. So once again, I would say thank you so much for the opportunity for this. And then I would say that cervical cancer is treatable. It is treatable. So don't stay because of fear with myths and misconceptions that maybe this and that, whatever you've heard. No. If you don't understand anything, go to any of the health facilities near you, your community. We have there, health professionals are there to explain things to you, to help you so that you can understand some of these things. When you go early, detection is early, and then you are free to go. Take advantage of this time that we are spreading the awareness, and then go and get screened, okay? Go and get screened. If there is a need for you to get vaccinated, after the screening, you can prepare and then go and vaccinate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Mrs. Cynthia Adowa is a midwife at St. John God Hospital, and she was our guest for today as we discussed cervical cancer awareness, since the month of January is a month dedicated to creating awareness on cervical cancer or cervical cancer. We are also doing that here as part of our lifestyle segment. And so I hope you've learned something. I hope you've been educated. Early detection matters. Please get yourself screened, get tested so that you know you are on the right path. That's all we have for you on the lifestyle segment. We have a few birthday celebrations. Let's get into it.
I heard today was your birthday.
You're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. Who is our birthday celebrant? We just have one birthday celebrant for today. Oh, so glorious birthday to you, Richard. May God bless you abundantly today and always. Wishing you joy, good health, and endless victories. Thank you so much. This is actually coming from me to you. Happy birthday to you and to everyone who is celebrating their birthday and was not able to send the message here on the show. Should I say happy birthday to Barcelona fans? Or okay, so we have exciting news coming your way with our sports updates with Benedict Nketiah and myself. And so right after this will come your way. So can we have the breaker? Okay. And you're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. It is time for our sports update. And just as I mentioned earlier, one exciting gentleman, I mean, the happiest man on earth, Benedict Nketiah-Kwarteng, has joined me right now because he's a Barcelona fan. And God being so good, Real Madrid did not score them. And so they are happy.
Yes, we are happy.
On behalf of Real Madrid fans, we are sad. Benedict, how was the match?
It was great. It was great. It was awesome. I mean, one of the happiest days in my life. You know, 2026 began so well for us Barcelona fans. First of all, let me say a good morning to our viewers out there. And
you're overly excited.
Yes, thank you for hanging with us. We've begun a new year, and of course, you are still with us, and we know you will stay with us throughout the rest of the years. But then let me come back to the amazing news and most entertaining news.
Yes.
I'm so happy. I mean, it's not as if it's news when I lash Real Madrid. It's no news.
You guys have been doing it.
Oh,
hey.
What
Real Madrid, what's happening to the team?
We under in a year they've changed 2 coaches. They've sacked 2 coaches. Carlo Ancelotti was first, and then Xabi Alonso just yesterday he had to leave the team. He had to leave the club. He resigned.
He wasn't sacked.
No, he resigned. He wasn't sacked, but then it's all the same. I mean, ultimate pressure. No, the thing is that I feel sad for Xabi Alonso because I mean he was doing something. He was doing something. He's not a bad coach, but I mean you're facing Barcelona. Your rival is Barcelona.
Oh, but I mean 3-2 is not bad, right?
It's not bad. It's not bad. But in the end, losing is losing. Yes.
Oh, but they scored.
Well, they did. They did. So Barcelona on Sunday, we defended our Supercopa de España title with a 3-2 win over Real Madrid at the King Abdallah Stadium. With Rafinha scoring twice and Lewandowski adding up. For the goals for Real Madrid, I think it was Vinicius and then Gonzalo Garcia. Yes. Yes. So we won by 3 goals.
My favorite play is it Lamine
Yamal. Yikefue. Was he part? Yeah, he was part. He was part.
Okay.
He played very well for the team, and he was part of the reasons why we won on Sunday. So yeah. I wanted to pass this on. So Real Madrid, they have this player Jude Bellingham. Okay. Yes, one of the best midfielders according to them, not anyone according to them. So I just want to let them know that Juan Garcia, that's Barcelona keeper, had more passes than their so-called best midfielder. So I just wanted to pass this on to you guys. Maybe you don't know, so yes. And in 12 days in this 2026, I mean today is 13, so 13 days, Chelsea, they've sacked their manager, Man United manager is gone, and then now Real Madrid.
Did you see the bombastic side eye James gave you?
They are going to suffer like that. For Chelsea fans, like I said, they are not really my target.
Okay.
I was just giving them a few space, but then I think they want to overstep. They are children. Chelsea, they are just not up there. You scoring Barcelona, I mean, the way they were excited, the way they were happy that they won against Barcelona tells it all. But they are kids in the eyes of Barcelona, so they have nothing to compare themselves to us. So,
what do you have for us
yes,
today?
So let me move on. If you let me keep on ranting on, I don't think we'll finish with the story. So let me just move on to our stories for today. So yes, the first story for today is the Egyptian coach Ahmed Fati steps down as Swedru All Blacks coach. So yes, Egyptian, the Swedru All Blacks manager, who is an Egyptian coach, he's called Ahmed Fati. He has stepped down yesterday when he posted a notice on Saturday. Sorry, he posted a notice on his Facebook. Let me just read what he said. He said, "Dear Swedru All Blacks fans, I thank you for your support. I decided to apologize and not to complete the task for personal reasons. With all due respect to the club and everyone who works in it, I wish the club all the best. Thank you for your support. I have decided not to continue for personal reasons. With full respect to the club, I wish the club continued success." So this is a manager who signed in with the Swedru All Blacks. He was doing very well per records because I think they were being relegated. They were in the relegation zone until they played against Asante Kotoko, where he managed to help the team win against Asante Kotoko. But unfortunately, he claims due to some personal reasons he has to step down. So I think this is not what we were expecting to hear this morning. Unfortunately, that is what we are facing, and then we wish him the best. So far, the club has not issued any report out on this, but we hope to hear from the club and hear what the problem is, what is really happening. He says it's a personal reasons, and then I think when issues like that come up due to personal reasons, we only have to respect it, and then of course wish them the best in whatever they do. Now let's move on to our next story. So our next story has to do with the AFCON competition that is going on.
Okay.
So
Nigeria is doing good, right?
Yeah, Nigeria is playing very well. The agenda now, I'm being tempted to jump ship because Nigeria is playing very well. And against Algeria, I mean, all Africans, especially those in the West African zone and then the East African zone, we actually supported Nigeria to beat Algeria because of what Algeria did to the gentleman who was paying tribute to Patrice Lumumba during their game, where he was trying to tease them after they lost and all that. So we're all behind Nigeria. So this is the first time in the competition that I have supported Nigeria because I wanted them to beat Algeria just to avenge that kind of a troll that went on. I mean, we joke with a lot of things, but then when it comes to some legends, especially for our African countries, we have to pay respect to them. So yes, Nigeria beats Algeria 2-0, and then it was incredible. I kept on wondering, how did Nigeria not qualify for this World Cup? Because their gameplay was incredible. They played very well, but unfortunately, they couldn't qualify for the World Cup. Now let me move on to the story. So it says that the clinical Egyptian side beat Cote d'Ivoire in 5-goal trailer to reach semi-finals. So yes, Egypt faced the defending champions of the AFCON, that is Cote d'Ivoire. And unfortunately, Cote d'Ivoire lost by 3-2. So Egypt is also playing very well, led by Mohamed Salah. They're pretty very good in on the 14th, 5 p.m. Senegal is playing against Egypt, and then at 8 p.m. we have the Nigerian team playing against Morocco. At this point, it is the West African teams against the North African teams. So Senegal and then Nigeria for West Africa, and then of course Egypt and Morocco for the North African teams. At this point, I think we can only rally behind the West African teams. I don't want to play against anymore. Let me just support my Nigeria. The only problem is that if we don't perform very well in the World Cup, we will suffer. I mean, on Twitter, on X.
We are going to do well. I mean, we've received prophecies, surrounding World Cup. Ghana gets into the final stage, and so no shaking.
I don't want to even make comments about this prophecy thing because yes, it's their thing, it's their work, it's their job, so they understand it better than we do. We hope for the best. Congratulations to Nigeria in advance. And I like the way they are playing. They are playing very well, and so hopefully
they're just trying to prove a point.
Yes,
they're just trying to prove.
I think it was due to political reasons, and some internal reasons that made them not qualify for the World Cup. Because looking at the type of play they are playing, their tactics, the way they overcome their opponents and all that, they're a very good side. I must be honest. They're a very good side. So it's quite surprising they couldn't qualify. But they are doing very well in the AFCON, and hopefully they will do very well to win the trophy this time around. Let me move on to our next story. We come back home, where Ghana has received the green light to host the 2026 African Athletics Championships. So Ghana, over the weekend, the 24th African Senior Athletics Championship held in Accra. Will be held in Accra, in May, where Ghana is hosting it at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. So the MOU has been signed. It legally confirms that Ghana has the hosting rights. It was signed on Wednesday at the Ministry of Sports and Recreation, led by Kofi Idi Adams, on behalf of the government of Ghana and Ghana Athletics, with the CAA president Hamad Kaukaba Mabum signing for the continental governing body. So yes, the agreement has been signed, and Ghana is hosting the African Athletics Championships in May, hopefully. And I'm glad we were able to win this bid over Botswana, because it was quite competitive. A lot of countries wanted to host it, and then Ghana was able to successfully win this bid. So yes, in May, starting May 12th to the 17th in 2026 this year at the Accra University of Ghana Stadium, Legon, will be hosting this tournament, and then we'll have athletes from all over Africa coming into this country to compete, and of course for the ultimate prize. So athletics in Ghana is a very big thing. This is a comment made by the GM, the Minister for Sports and Recreation. He says that it brings us together. Football was nowhere near athletics, and it's still not. I welcome the CAA. Ghana is grateful for giving us the opportunity to host Africa, and we will not disappoint. So these are the comments made by the minister, and just reassuring the president of the association that yes, we are ready to host this competition. We are ready to do whatever we can do to make this a memorable one. And of course, we also hope to do better, because whenever you are hosting, the limelight is on you to perform better and do much more than your opponent. So yes, let me move on to our next story, our last story for the day, and it has to do with our managers being sacked. So one of the latest, Manchester United losing their manager, and then of course he's being replaced. I mean, we are hoping, it's expected that Michael Carrick, who is also a legend of the club, is appointed as the interim boss ahead of a derby. So they have a derby that they are about to play, Manchester United against Manchester City. Will be played over the weekend. 12:30, that is an early kickoff. Yes, so we are hopeful that Michael Carrick will be signed as an interim boss for Manchester United as they play their debut. And we have Ole. Ole is a former manager for Manchester United who was also sacked, who was also laid off some years ago. He's also in the conversation because I think the Ineos management, they feel like they still have a chance. I mean, he still has a chance. He did quite well with the team, though they didn't get to where they wanted to get to. But then, looking at his past records, he's done very well with the club. And then we are hopeful that, he's part of the competition that is going on. So that is Michael Carrick on our screens. Yes, hopefully he's appointed as the interim coach. If not, we have Ole as part of the conversation. We have other managers, but then the two leading managers who are leading the conversations are Michael Carrick and then Ole, of course. So yes, that is it for the sports update segment. Real Madrid fans,
so much.
I'm sorry, but this is how it feels like. Continue to, wallow in your sorrow. And then Chelsea, we are coming for you. I know you sacked your manager, Enzo Maresca. Wherever he is, we'll get to him. But for Chelsea, the thing is that we'll get to you one by one.
Okay, thank you so much, Benedict and Katie Akwatin, for bringing us the sports update. We have business updates coming your way. Right after the business segment, we'll have our part 2 of the newspaper online session where we'll be talking about Langards. I mean, you know of Langards, right? Yes, we'll be talking about them. And so you have to stay with us. Right after this, we'll come your way.
Good morning, welcome to the Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Now on to our stories. The Ministry of Finance says government has resolved Ghana's energy sector debt, marking a major step towards restoring financial stability and investor confidence. In a statement released on Monday, January 12, the ministry said John Dramani Mahama administration paid $1.47 billion United States dollars by the end of 2025 to stabilize the sector.
This included $597 million United States dollars to fully restore a World Bank guarantee, about $480 million United States dollars to clear gas debts owed to ENI and Vital, and $393 million United States dollars in legacy payment to independent power producers. The ministry said the interventions have improved gas supply, reduced reliance on expensive fuels, and assured stakeholders that measures are in place to prevent a return of energy sector debt. This included...
Away from that, an economic report has backed the pricing framework used by Goodboard and the Bank of Ghana describing it as a policy tool to curb gold smuggling and support macroeconomic stability, not a profit-driven strategy. The report says assessing the gold for reserve program based on accounting principle, that is profit and loss, misses its purpose.
Buying gold at world market prices, it explains, helps eliminate incentives for smuggling in an arbitrage-driven mining sector. While the approach carries an estimated policy cost of about 2.5% of gold value, the report describes this as a deliberate compliance cost. It adds that reported losses largely reflect exchange rate accounting effects, not actual cash losses. The study concludes that the program should be judged by 8 broader economic gains, including stronger reserves, exchange rate stability, and lower inflation.
On Treasury Bill, the investor interest in government Treasury Bill surged, with total bids surpassing the target by approximately 20.41%. According to the Bank of Ghana's auction results, bids accepted amounting to 9.1 billion Ghana cedis, exceeding the target of 7.5 billion Ghana cedis.
The majority of bids came from the 91-day bill, totaling about 6.54 billion Ghana cedis, with 6.53 billion Ghana cedis accepted. For the 182-day bill, 1.06 billion Ghana cedis was tendered, and 1.05 billion Ghana cedis was accepted. The 364-day bill saw 1.50 billion Ghana cedis tendered, with over 1.4 billion Ghana cedis accepted. Interest rates moved slightly, with the yield on the 91-day bill rising to 11.17%, and the 182-day bill increasing to 12.61%, while the yield on the 364-day bill fell to 12.90%.
Thank you so much for staying with us for the Business Update segment. I am Clement Yabankwe. Do enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show here on Clock TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is another conversation here where we get to talk about the trends happening with regards to governance, any aspect of our lives. We are going to be talking about that. And I have my co-host with me, Clement Yabankwe, and also Peter Insia. Peter, you were missed at the early session. Yes, we introduced a twist, on the show today. We said the word of the day. Not Clemens, you see anything? Tenacious.
And one on the determination.
So yes, that's the word of the day. What do you think about that word?
So far so good. It means that we are not only educating, we are also learning.
Exactly.
Learning as well,
yeah.
so.
We just want to be leaving something with our viewers so that they can learn something, from the show. Now, we have 3 trending stories we are going to be talking about. One is with regards to a few tricycles that have been deployed by the Ghana Health Service to boost emergency referrals in rural communities. We'll be having a phone-in session. And we also will be talking about some land guards, some individuals who pose as land guards who were arrested by the Greater Accra Coordinating Council. We'll also be talking to my co-host with regards to that as well. And also, the major trending story is, some good news coming from the Finance Ministry that some debts with regards to the energy sector has been paid by President John Dramani Mahama. And so our lights are going to be on for God knows how long. And so we'll also be talking about that as well. The phone lines will be open, and so you can engage us with your thoughts. You can send us a comment to our WhatsApp number as well, and we'll gladly respond to that. Now, we have the PRO of the National Ambulance Service, Greater Accra Region, Miss Fatila Lale, on the line, and we are going to be interacting with her to find out how they intend to collaborate with the Ghana Health Service's decision of deploying some tricycles to ease in emergency services. Hello, Miss Fati.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Koko Digest Morning Show.
This morning.
So we heard that some tricycles have been deployed by the Ghana Health Service to boost emergency referrals in rural communities. And we just like to hear your take on this good news. How do you feel about it as an emergency response service?
All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And good morning to you once again and your listeners. Once again, glad to be on Clock TV to discuss issues of emergency services in Ghana. So with regard to the tricycles being delivered or given to be an other or a support for emergency services, it's a very good idea because it is going to support our already running system for it to be better. It is going to enhance access. It's going to enhance healthcare and then also reduce mortality too as well.
I see. Looking at a tricycle, one can tell that it looks quite smaller than ambulances we've been seeing around. How different is this from that, and how effective is this tricycle going to help solve emergency cases as compared to the ambulance itself?
Come again, please.
So I'm just asking that, looking at the tricycle in terms of size, it is smaller than the ambulance, which is quite bigger. Now, this is to help ease emergency cases in the country. How different is this tricycle from the ambulances you guys use for your operations? In terms of equipment, in terms of accessibility, how different is that?
So first of all, the tricycles are smaller than the ambulances, and they are able to access areas in the rural areas that the ambulance is not able to access. So the tricycle is not just a bare tricycle, but it has been custom made to have a bed inside. We have seats for the people caring for the patients and the patient relatives. We have oxygen systems in it. And then we have first aid kits, and these help in supporting the patient whilst we are transporting. At some point, at some places in our nation, in some of the rural areas, the ambulance is not able to get there on time. So they meet the tricycle at a point where the tricycle comes out of those inaccessible areas, and then they pick the patients and continue with them. Or the tricycle is able to move the patient comfortably because of these items equipment I've mentioned that are in it, and are able to send the patient to the nearest health facility for continuity of care.
These tricycles are being deployed in rural areas. Some people are asking that these rural areas, don't they have the ambulances that we see in our cities? Don't they have them at all?
No, they do have them. There are ambulances in every municipality. Every district in Ghana has an ambulance. But if you go to certain areas, there are places where the vehicle is not able to go to or is not able to access easily. So that is how come the coming in of the tricycle, even though this is not the first time, we already have, the ambulance service is already having some tricycles already operating in OC and Savannah areas where the ambulance cannot go and then pick the patient because the roads are inaccessible. So this is to augment the work of the bigger vehicles so that they help in reducing, when the ambulance is not able to get there and they don't have tricycles, normally they use bicycles, they use motorbikes, some walk, some even carry their patients, and it's uncomfortable. And this deter most of them from even taking the step to go to the health facility. So the tricycle is able to ease all these challenges that they are having.
I see. Very interesting. Now, we also want to find out, this deployment is coming from the Ghana Health Service. Has there been some form of communication between the Ghana Health Service and the Ghana Ambulance Service as to how these deployments should be done? As to which rural community needs the tricycle than the other? That kind of conversation, have you had that?
So with regards to which community needs it, it has already been done before they were even brought in. So the regions in the Savannah, in the northern region, in the northeast, in areas, they've already demarcated areas that they need to augment the service. So all we need to do is to collaborate with them as we all already do, because at that level, the community health management, the Ghana Health Service, and the ambulance service come together to manage the service the ambulance gives to the people in the community. The tricycle gives to the people in the community.
I see. Lastly, Fatih, we just want to know, this is in a way a short-term initiative. Is this going to be a long-term or a permanent solution to communities that do not have access to ambulances, or it is just an ambulance in disguise, let me put it that way, that has been deployed to these communities? And so we send the tricycles to rural communities and that is it. We are not going to bring, the main ambulance vehicles.
All right. So like I said earlier on, we have ambulances serving every district, municipality in this country. So it's not as if they don't have, but they are in a situation where their location is not, the ambulance is not able to get to them due to their location. The roads are narrow, they are bad, they are inaccessible. So these tricycles, so far, as long as our road networks are not good, will be there to support the work of the ambulance service. So this community do have ambulance, the communities do have ambulances, but we are not able to get to them directly. So the tricycle supports them to get closer to the ambulance. So when they move from wherever they are and come, they just get into the ambulance and we move them to the bigger health facilities for higher level of care. So as long as our roads remain this way, our rural areas most of them are inaccessible. This is a good way to enhance emergency care to reduce mortality too as well.
Thank you so much. But a concern, I mean, do you have trained drivers for these tricycles, or just anybody at all can, move these tricycles?
No, not anybody at all can move these tricycles. So like I said earlier on, the ones we have that we are managing in OT and Savannah, we have trained personnel, EMTs managing it. So with these ones that have come in, there's going to be training for those who will ride or drive that tricycle, and then those who will manage patients inside. And mostly, because they are connected to it is between the Ghana Health Service, the National Ambulance Service, and then district medical management, they will together train people to manage. It will not be any lay person at all managing it, because, like I said, it is not just an empty tricycle. It contains bed and some medical equipment that needs to be taken care of as well.
Thank you so much. Ms. Fatih Lale is the PRO of the Ghana National Ambulance Service, Greater Accra Region. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Gentlemen, we are talking about deployment of some tricycles to some rural areas. Let me just take your thoughts on this conversation.
Okay, so Mimi, it's a very good thing that the Ghana Health Service is doing and the Ghana Ambulance Service is doing. As we heard from the PRO, this is not the first time. In 2025, 10 tricycles was being deployed to the Savannah region, and it was done by the Moving Health. They deployed 10 of them, and in this tricycle, as the PRO said, we have things that is needed as first aid things, where when someone is sick in a critical condition, they can respond to them as quick as possible before they get to the health facility, or the bigger ambulance comes in to convey the person to wherever the person needs to be. So it's a good call. The next point I just want to make is the fact that the PRO said it's true. Every district has an ambulance, because in the last administration or the previous administration, we all can attest that they deployed over 250 plus ambulances across the country, where every constituency had an ambulance. But mind you that in a constituency, we have more than 200 communities or more than 150 communities. So the question is, how can one ambulance serve over 100 communities at a go, which is impossible? So this coming in is a good one there, but we expect more of these, and it shouldn't just be of tricycle as the point you raise it. In as much as we are bringing in tricycle as a temporary measure to control the issue of mortality and that kind of thing happening in the rural areas, we should look at around the clock how best we can get more ambulances to serve the people in the deprived areas. Because when it comes to the cities, you can, even when you are sick, you can just pick a phone and call an ambulance service, and the person can come to your aid. What happens to those in the rural communities? People, when you go to the comments of this very post, they were making comments like, why such tricycle coming to the scene? Why not an ambulance? Why this small? Mimi, if you happen to live in these deprived areas, in these rural areas, you would appreciate why this tricycle is important to them. Some places, when someone wants to put to bed or point of delivery, they need to put the person on a motor. And look at how risky it may be. And when the road is very bad, how risky. If care is not taken, the person gets miscarriage. So if you have a tricycle which has a bed, at least the person can rest. And before the person gets to the health facility, there's going to be a good news. So I think that let's actually commend the Ghana Health Service for what they are doing, and the Ghana Ambulance Service.
Before Peter even comes in, I like the fact that the PRO said that this is just to bridge a gap, between the patients and then the ambulance, not even the health facility. So there is an ambulance for the district that is situated somewhere that cannot get access to the patient. So the tricycle is just to carry the person to the ambulance and then transfer to the health facility. Peter?
Yes, so first of all, I like the collaboration between the Ghana Health Service and the ambulance service, which is a good one. And like she rightly said, and Clement, this is not the first time we are experiencing this. The first time we used a tricycle for referrals in Ghana was in 2012, where that is known as the motorcanes that we know. And so with time, we have developed from motorcanes now to, mini ambulances with beds and all that. It wouldn't be the most comfortable, car to use at those areas. But like Clement said, the route to that place, sometimes access to road network is very bad. And so the only thing that, currently we can do to bridge that gap is these motorcycles. And then as we move on, we hope and pray that we get more money to be able to construct, proper roads to ensure that each and everyone get access to proper health care and what have you. And then moving forward, we don't want to also see this to be as an initiative. So when you look at the trend, in 2012 we had 2015, 2017, 2020, and currently we are also having one. It means that for every 5 or 6 years, we have non-governmental organization coming in to support and to help bridge the gap in terms of health and all that. So it should be something that should continue. And then there should be this maintenance culture.
Exactly.
We don't say because it was given to us, we are just going to let them to spoil just like that. We have to ensure that we maintain them, train more people, and, give access to others. And then if you look at the trend, you would realize that most of these, tricycle coming in are being given to the people in the north. So I am tempted to say that the people in the south, are they kind of, free in terms of, or they have good road networks? So they
exactly. That's even what I wanted to talk about, because when you read some of the comments under this story, people are talking about the roads, fix the roads. The problem is not we needing more tricycles. It is just the road. Getting to somebody's house is so difficult, right? You can't even get access into houses. Just as you mentioned, some places, pregnant women are being carried on motorbikes and other inconvenient means of transportation, which is not helping. And so it is the road that is the problem. So government should just focus on that, because if after every 5 years you're going to be deploying tricycles to communities, it means you are neglecting the root cause, the most important thing. That is what other people are saying. But my producer says we should move to the next conversation. And so let's talk about what some group of men who call themselves landguards are doing. The story of landguards has been normalized. A lot of people are just seeing it to be normal. I never knew that landguards can be arrested. So let me just read what the story is saying. The Greater Accra Regional Police Command has arrested and detained 6 persons suspected to have engaged in landguard activities and possessing firearms. And comments under this post, you could tell that they said one particular one in the blue shirt has been arrested before and sentenced. And so they are surprised to see him again here.
Constantly.
Now, you'll be wondering, who are landguards? They are a violent group of men who use illegal force to control land, leading to human rights abuses. They intimidate and extort money from people, and they sometimes disrupt construction. And so you'd acquire a land somewhere in Accra, and then you get to the land to start building, and some group of people will come with firearms, come with cutlasses, just to come and tell you that the land doesn't belong to you, and so you should leave the land. And so many people are even scared to report them because they are scared for their lives, right? Why do these people exist? That is the question we need to be asking ourselves. And we will all point fingers to the trust we do not have in our institutions. We have a whole commission dedicated to Lands Commission. We have institutions that are supposed to be taking care of issues like this, yet you cannot even acquire a land in Accra if you are not willing to settle people, if you are not willing to pay more than the actual price of the land. someone bought a land and then the person had to pay twice the amount of, the land because someone has already acquired it. Your land.
Mimi, so the video, before I even come to that, the video we were watching, one thing runs through them.
Okay.
And that is their stitcher, the body. Now let me go back, like you rightly stated. This issue didn't start from now.
Yeah.
It started way back. Those days when we had the Asafu groups. The Asafu groups were meant to protect, stool lands and all that. When that time the British came, the Aboriginal Right Protection. So the Asafu group were meant to protect our lands and water view. Fast forward in the 1980s to the 1990s, that's where we heard of, land gas, especially here in Accra, as rapid urbanization increased. So before that time, a plot of land was nothing, the amount.
Yeah.
But from the 1980s, where urbanization started, that's where we saw that people saw that there's value actually in land and all that. First were the 2000s and then 2010, when the pre-urban expansion started, the Kaswa, Pram, East Legon, and all that.
Did you say East Legon?
Yes, that is when the urbanization. That's when people started building for renting and all
Hills.
that.
Okay.
The Pram, Kaswa, and those types. That's where. Yes, that's where we saw the activities of these land gas. And then fast forward in 2000, it became a national security concern.
Yeah.
So the question is why?
Why?
We have all the laws. All the laws. So I've been saying there's a problem in this country is law enforcement. We have laws for everything in this country, but the problem still lies with the law enforcement. Is it that our law enforcement agencies do not have the strength, do not have the requisite tools to fight these people or what?
Yeah.
Like I was saying, when you see these people, at the first glance, you run away. They are physique, they are fearfully dressed, they are physique, everything. That we have the laws. And we have Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29. Even though this act did not mention or name land guard, but their activities are criminal.
Very criminal.
You storm people's place, fearfully dressed, causing fear and panic and all of that. These are criminal offenses. And then we have Firearms Act 1970, Act 666. Act 666. It means you can't possess a firearm without any authorization. And last year we saw that the Interior Ministry has started a crackdown on it, telling people to willingly submit firearms that they owe, or it's either you register it, you give reasons why you have to possess it and all that. And then we have the Land Act 2020, Act 1036. This criminalizes unauthorized interference with land. The major problem we are having in this country is one land being sold to multiple people.
Exactly.
We have some unscrupulous people somewhere selling one piece of land to multiple people. You sell it to Kojo, sell it to Ama, sell it to Ya, and then at the end of the day, what happens? Now, reports indicate that, and when you go to our courts, our judicial system, our courts, the cases that we have in our courts currently, about 52% out of, let's say, 90 court cases are land disputes. Because, one, the legal system, we have the laws, we are not enforcing them. And then when issues like this, land-related issues get to the court, it takes over 24 months, sometimes 4 years, 2 years for it to be resolved. And so people sought for other means. So those who are influential in the community, they pay people, even though you don't owe this particular land, but because you have money and you have influence, you pay these young people who have decided not to do anything with their lives. They will gym, build up the body, dress fearfully, take money, go and do what is unthinkable. This is a very sad thing in Ghana, and I think we should. And so we can't say this without also going straight to the Lands Commission, like you rightly said.
Exactly.
What institution is responsible for registering lands in this community? In this country? Is it that they don't have proper documentation that they should be able to tell that this piece of land located at Amasaman was sold to Abena in 2005. And so this same land cannot be sold to you and be registered in your name. You don't have those, documents. If they don't have, what is actually happening? Is it that the chiefs and the elders of community are also, it is an intentional thing that is what they do to extort money from people? Is it that the Lands Commission is not educating the people enough? That what measures or what are the things you have to take into consideration before buying a piece of land? And then who even have the right to sell a land? These are questions that we need to ask ourselves.
We even need answers from them. I mean, because I had to check their client service charter, and they were saying that they are there to provide high quality, reliable and efficient services in geographic information on, lands and other things. What kind of information are they giving us? Now, if you want to buy a land, you have to go and see a chief. There are no rules. Clement.
So Mimi, we have different kinds of lands in our law. When you take the Land Act 2020, we have the stool lands, which has been controlled and managed by the various tools we have. We have the family lands, we have the clan lands, we have the statutory land, we have the state lands. So we have different kinds of land, actually. So you, the individual, if you are going for land, you should know the kind of land you are going to buy. That is first point we need to put out there. Even though Lands Commission regulates the land, but some lands are in the hands of the kings. Some are in the hands of the family. So before you get it, you need to see the family, you need to see the king of that place and all these matters. I also want to go into the law of the country, because many people are saying that we have the laws, but it seems it's not really applicable, or it looks weak. That is why we can have this land guards always on the streets doing whatever they are doing. But you see, maybe in your talk submission, you made mention of the fact that Ghana Police is responsible for all these things we see, and that is the truth, because according to the 1992 Constitution, Act 200, Section 1, it talks about that there shall be a police service of Ghana, and their core mandate in Section 2, Section 3 will tell you that no person or no group of people would have another group known as the police service to establish peace and order. And you could see the land guards, their main motive is to make sure there is peace and order on that very land. That's what they are doing. But far from that, what is the issue of this land guards? They look like what we call the vigilante groups.
Exactly.
In terms of politics and all these kind of things. But we have a law that says that vigilante is criminalized in this country. That is Act 2019, Act 999. And when you go to Section 1 and Section 2, which says that criminalizes the formation, operation, support, financing, and participation in vigilante groups, including groups that use violence or intimidation to enforce private interest. And when you look at the Langa, that is exactly what they do. They use their force, they use arms to make sure that what they want is being done. Whether they have been hired by a group of people or whether they are protecting their family lands or their stool lands, that is exactly what they do. When you go to the Section 7 of this same act, it says that makes it an offense to recruit, train, organize, command, or finance, or act as a member of vigilante group. So these people, as we see on the screen, per the laws of the country, they will be categorized as vigilante group because of their activities over there. And what is the penalty? The penalty says that they can go into imprisonment for 5 to 15 years imprisonment. That is the penalty for people like that. And let's look at how it implies to land. So land guards fall squarely under the vigilante because 1, they use force. 2, they operate outside the police service. 3, they enforce private land claims. And see, both say, the next thing you hear is that land guards are on the land. This makes it very scary when a young guy wants to buy a land, or when a young woman who has started life want to buy a land in Accra, because you wonder which kind of land should I buy. Even you end up buying it from the developers, and you still hear there are issues around it. So this is something that need to be looked at critically. Maybe when you go to the Land Act, as we are talking about the Land Commission, when you go to the Act 2020, Act 1036, Section 12 of the Act, which says that a person shall not unlawfully exercise or purport to exercise supervision or control over land development. So they've not asked you to supervise the land. They've not asked you to protect the land. When you do that, maybe according to the law, it's an offense. And a person shall not, when you go to Section 2, Section 12, subsection 2, it says a person shall not use force, violence, threat, or intimidation to prevent lawful access to the land. So all these things is trying to tell us that we have a law in the country that need to be enforced. But the question here is, there is a big relative between the law and what is happening on ground. That is what we need to look at, Mimi. One is this. What happens if after all these laws, I know all these laws in the country, but yes, though, people, my land that I've actually, or we may say, matimeni simply free after assassin. Now, at the better no, say you have no control over the land. What should I do?
Exactly.
I end up reporting the case to the Ghana police. We end up going to court, and the little money I have,
you spend it.
I just spend it on court issue. What do I stand to gain? Do I need to let the land go, or what am I supposed to do? That is what viewers are asking. That is what people of this country are asking. They want to know that what is really happening. Now, maybe first point we should let viewers understand that there's no need for you to hire land guards. That is the first point. When you want to hire land guards, report the incident to the police. The second thing we need to look at is that report incident to the police immediately when you realize land guards are on your land. Immediately, and seek a court order. According to the land, under the section 12, 3 to 4, under the Land Act, it gives you the authority to seek land order. You seek court order on the land, and that will prevent any other person to come to the land. If the person comes to the land, it's an offense. And you can do whatever you want to do to the person, but not to kill the person. That is what you want to put in there. And also, you need to contact the Lands Commission as soon as possible.
Right.
This is what Mimi I just want to say on this very matter.
Benjamin inside Accra is saying, "Good morning. I like this program. Keep doing the good work." Thank you so much, Benjamin, for bringing in your comment. You at home, you are being invited to engage us with your thoughts on this. Have you ever had an encounter with land guards where you bought a land and it was taken from you, or you have, experiences like this? Just share with us what you think on our WhatsApp number, and also the phone lines are open, and so you can call us and tell us what you think about this conversation, or even suggest to us what we should do when we find ourselves in situations like this. Now, let me ask Peter, as a young man, would you purchase a land in Accra, or you'd go and look for a land somewhere?
Currently, as it stands now, everything about land guards, I will not risk it.
Why?
To purchase land in Accra. Why? Because it looks as though it's a planned something. Like Clement said, I'll suffer my hard-earned money, buy a piece of land. The next day I'll go, and then it has been taken over by some unscrupulous people. Demanding for money. So the only thing I'll do is either go back to other regions to buy, or I'll buy an already existing house, pull it down, and then, because when you consider the cost that comes with buying a fresh land without anything, with the worries, if you don't care, do you know the number of people that have died out of these land guard issues?
I know, right?
People are dying, leaving their families behind. Because the offense they committed was buying a piece of land, and that's all. People with influence, people with power will come. And at the end of the day, if you try to be stubborn, they just kill you, and that is so. To avoid all this wahala and everything, I'll buy an existing, property, pull it down, and go to suit my,
Okay, so we have Francis from Alajo on the line. Hello, Francis.
Hello, madam. How are you doing today?
Francis, we can hear you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes. So, what is your contribution to this conversation?
Good morning. I'm saying that concerning the issues with the land guard, it's mostly the big men, the big men in the
Hello. Okay, so I think we lost Francis.
Yeah, so before you ask, I wanted to make a point that prior to the beginning of this conversation, you made mention that in the comment section, they repeatedly made mention of a guy in blue uniform.
Yeah.
As though Pasanya selection, let's
Exactly.
welcome. So that is where, like Clement stated, we have all the laws by the enforcement.
Yeah.
So what happens after the arrest?
Exactly.
So this kind of person has been able to, he has been identified as
It was,
one
it was,
notorious
even, it was
landlord.
quite surprising when people saw that they were arrested. I mean, what kind of conversations did the Ghana police have with them for them to surrender? Because these people, you can't arrest them.
But the police are very experienced.
I know, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So the issue, it shouldn't be. We should find a lasting solution to it. Like you rightly said, people will find a piece of land, knowing very well that somebody has already started a developmental project, and the person will be like, because the person is see this land, I want it, and I must get it.
Just like what our caller was saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because of the power and the influence, it is not fair. What do we have to do? Right? We have the laws and everything. What
Okay,
do we
Peter,
have to
so
do
we have another caller. Hello. Okay, so that is our caller over there sharing her grievances with regards to land acquisition in Ghana. She's saying she's over 70 years and she suffered before she got her land. This is even a woman. I mean,
just imagine woman, 70 years pensioner, talking like this. What advice even would she give to her children or her grandchildren?
fantastic.
And yes, there is a solution that viewers can look on, or public service or civil service workers can look on, is to visit Clocksack headquarters. There is a department that looks on land. That deals with lands related matters. And when you visit them, they would guide you on issues of lands, where to get your land and where not to get your land.
Okay, so we have another caller. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, I want to join myself for the conversation they are doing on the TV. According to the landlord, land guard.
Yes, let us hear you.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
It's like the land guard matter in Ghana is very, very dangerous and very bad, very bad. Even I was sick, I had a stroke, and right now I had a land at Apollonia. The land guard make one with another woman. They have shared, I'm talking to you. They have shared the land right now. So the land guard should be abolished in Ghana. Hello?
So he has also made his point that land guards should be abolished. I mean, who gave them the power?
It is not even legal.
Yeah, who gave them the power?
You see, as Mimi, when Peter was giving the generation of this land guards, you could see where it started from.
Yeah.
The family, the kinship, and now it has come to stay.
So
and all this land guards.
I want to understand something. It is owners of lands that employ these land guards to come and protect their lands for them, if I'm getting you right.
See, sometimes it's like it's two land.
Okay.
So asase asase.
Okay.
So the youth try to protect the land so that it doesn't go as to a different land. But I tell you, ebi anto asase na makojo. Inti ebusepen no anka ntre ebusanfo say na yaye. Inti ebusanfo 40 a almost say add into bayesa. So you could say that is where that kind of dispute will start from.
Yeah.
So as a layman who comes in to buy a land, at least I need to be previewed.
Yeah.
If there are issues like this, let me know that there are issues like this, so that I just stay away.
Okay, so we have another caller on the line. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please, your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm calling from Ashama.
Okay. Please, what's your name?
Naomi.
Naomi. Okay, please let us hear your contribution.
I also bought a land at Mobole, Apulia side. That's 2010. Now, I bought it from Ellis Kingdom. Now, the man whom that we bought the land from is dead. So now the land, the chief and city people said, they are taking the land from us. And I said, we don't know them. We don't know them. They also said they also don't know us. So they are taking the land from us. And I said, no, once I bought the land from the Ellis Kingdom, I have my city. They said they don't know any of us, so we shouldn't be coming to the land. Once I have my son, my blocks on the land, 2010.
Wow. Naomi, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm listening.
I just want to know, before you acquired the land, did you do any research? Did you find out who the land belonged to? That kind of, research before acquiring the land. Did you do something like that?
Yes, it's estate developer, Ellis Kingdom.
Oh. Sorry about that. We know of him, yeah.
This Ellis Kingdom.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, Naomi. So that is it. We were even running from individual landowners to these estate developers, thinking that they were more secured and safe. But it looks like most of them cry. I say, so issues for home.
The point here is, Mimi, I think this conversation needs to be treated again where we have the Lands Commission right here so that viewers can voice out their grievances where they would also provide solution to them. And as I was saying, this is how it started from. It didn't inform the rest. So the rest tried to have grievances. Looking at the caller's situation, there's someone sold the land to her. Now the person is dead.
Yeah.
And now the other family members are saying they don't know you. Why? It's because maybe during the point of arrangement or let's say the agreement, none of the witnesses were there.
Yeah.
So sometimes too, we also need to be very careful in going into land contracts and some kind of issues like this.
Someone will even say that before you even buy a land, make sure you have money to start building it.
Even if you start building,
so I'm coming. We have a caller on the line. Hello. Hello. Okay, so I think we lost that caller. Yeah.
In spite of all this, like Clement said, when things like this happen, you don't have to take the laws into your own hands. You have to go to the court. Here lie the case. The court is very slow. So currently, what can we do to expedite the activities of the court to ensure that people get fair hearing and all that? Because, like I stated, when you go to we have pending issues about land that dates back, let's say 2000 and then 2005. Still, the people are still there confused, not knowing what to do. So as a country, what can we do now to ensure that we expedite these cases? And that's why I have a problem with the Lands Commission. Proper documentation.
Exactly.
You can't buy a land without a land certificate.
Their job will also be difficult because how are you going to tell that this land belongs to this person or that person?
That's when you have the documents.
How?
So if you have, if you register,
tradition will conflict with our laws in so many ways because families are owners of the land. Okay, the land belongs to my father. He's no more. Now it has been inherited to me. I am also going to die someday. I'll inherit it to my child. And then someone comes, let's say a chief or something. I think we have a caller on the line.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please, your name and where you're calling us from.
Please, I'm Belinda. I'm calling from Ashaman.
Hey, my Ashaman people. Okay, let's hear you.
Please, we have one plot of land. We bought it from 2015. We started doing a project on it, but someone came and was before we realized someone brought sand and materials and started building on the land. We sent it to the police station and it's like they are in a cover. So it's like we don't know. As I'm talking to you, we are on the land, but the man has divided the land into two and saying that he's taking half of it. Then he leave half for us.
So, when you went to the police, what exactly did the police tell you?
I don't know if the man has been bribing, the other person has been bribing him or not. So when you go, you don't say any sensible thing. He just said we should talk to the chief so that the chief will resolve this issue. Okay. Anytime you start doing something on the land, then you take land that all around, more than 10 or 15. You cannot do the work on the land. Meanwhile, we are on the land, but half of it is the issue.
It's so sad. So,
even the situation of going to the court, you need to get money, get a lawyer. Excuse me, get a lawyer to be able to defend. It all comes with money. Already, you've spent huge amount of money on the land already. Now there's dispute. You have to pay another money to ensure that you get something that rightfully belongs to you. And then, so you were mentioning about the fact that land belongs to inheritance. When you buy a land, you need to register the land to get a land certificate to ensure that you really own the land.
Most of our traditional people did not register these lands. And so you'll be there and then, oh, Papa, baby, tomatoes or tomato. There's no registration. He's just selling it. Do you get it?
So you have to ensure that you have the certificate to prove that this, so that we can get proper documentation.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, I'm called Gideon.
Okay, please, what is your contribution to this conversation?
As at now, I would say congratulations to show this program.
Please, can you speak up a bit?
Yeah, because a time ago, I was like 11 years to 12 years, and they took me go start reaching that way, and I go work and come. So before I come, where my father has built a house for, before we were staying, before they took me go the voter reaching area. Before I come, my father has passed away, and he remained my mommy and my brothers. So that's the time I have to come and start school. So that my mother forced and get a settlement. They go write my name. So I was doing school. I reached primary 4, I think primary 5, that way. So through that way, my education, to no one is there to support me to go my education. The house that we were staying. Now my mother is like, he's tired to look after us in the house. So my mother got away from the area that we were staying. And one day I'll go school and come. Though there is a noise around, but now everybody leaves, my mother lives in the village. And where I was staying with other uncle, the gap is much far. Before I can hear say, there are langas around. Which people are called langas? I don't know langas. That time I couldn't be able to speak English at that time too. So I was speaking in my local language. Who are the langas? Who are the langas?
Yeah.
Through that thing, getting to a few months ago, one day I'll go to school camp. The langas come and burn the house, dig everything in the house. So I don't know where I will stay to go my school again. I don't know anybody to, because my father's friends, when it happened like that, all of them, most of them, they running away. And
I think we've gotten your point, and thank you so much for your contribution. So he was also talking about langards, to the extent that they had to burn down their building. Langards, not landowners, langards.
So,
I think we would have to. Okay, so lastly, so that we move to our last.
So we've been able to bring out some, loopholes, some gaps, and all of that as a result of. So we can clearly see that there's lack of education. People do not really understand what goes into the buying and selling of lands and all of that. And then, in terms of our legal system, the rate at which issues like this are solved is kind of a bit slow.
Yeah.
And, we have the system, we have the laws, but then it is not working.
Exactly.
So going forward,
we are hoping that we'll have conversations on that. Our time is almost up. Let's just briefly talk about good news. I mean, from the office of the Finance Minister, Mahama's administration, or President Mahama's administration, has paid off the $1.47 billion energy sector debt, and they are restoring World Bank guarantee within their first year. So I'm just trying to summarize what I have here. And so our energy sector debt that has been lagging for some time has been paid off by the Mahama administration, which is some good news. Clearly, how does that reflect? Like, how is it going to benefit us as Ghanaians?
Energy Peter can go first.
Yes.
Please, briefly.
Yes, so like you rightly said, this is a good news, taking into consideration what we are experiencing.
So we understand that there is a tenacious caller on the line. So let's just listen to our caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Fine. The judgment. It's all called Uncle Fana Nasat. Me almost sit down also. Oko Google crowd, almost say, on the ye. You won't be a you Papa no so say I will be Nancy. Nancy.
Okay, so she's also sharing her grievance on that. Please, let's make our submissions very brief because of time.
Yeah, so it's a good news, like you stated, because power is very essential in Ghana in terms of businesses and all that, and this is kind of going to create an enabling environment for businesses and what have you. But the question is the fact that how is this going to translate into the lives of the ordinary person? This, we hope that it helps to sustain, the economy. But then, is the ordinary Ghanaian going to pay more electricity tariff or it is going to be stabilized? If the ordinary Ghanaian is going to pay more electricity tariff, then it means that the payment of this debt has not actually translated into the life of the ordinary Ghanaian. Because if you've paid off the energy debt, the ordinary Ghanaian must feel it.
Yeah.
You understand? And then also, this whole issue about the 5 years, when you go to the comment section, they say it is not the first time.
Before we
but
come
this
to
is
the
unique.
comments, yeah, I'm coming. Let's hear from Clement, and then we'll come to what other people are saying, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, so maybe very, very quick. I want to say it's a good news to Ghanaians. Though this is not the first time, but this is the highest ever in the history of the Republic of Ghana. 1.47 billion Ghana cedis, United States dollars, which is approximately close to 17 to 20 billion Ghana cedis is one in history. What is the implication? One, let's look at the macroeconomics implication in terms of inflation. ECG need for emergency borrowing is now going to be limited because at first we need to go for loans to be able to pay this kind of debts. But if government comes in to clear off this legacy debt, it means that one, ECG will not be going in for loan or borrowing. Two, he was talking about tariff. What's the meaning of increasing in tariff? Is because ECG tell that they want to clear off some of their debts and also make sure their operations get more good. So if government comes in to clear off your old debt, what it means that you need to be able to manage your existing debts, your operational cost. So we expect ECG to be able to handle its operational cost. Three, what this statement failed to tell us is the fact that the money they use to pay this kind of debt, is it the energy sector levy that they actually imposed or introduced in 2025, or what actual money did they use to pay off this kind of...
There's a press statement out there, on our screens right now, so you can get hold of that and also read. It has the breakdown as to how this whole debt was being paid.
Yes, so
briefly.
Yes, briefly. So we expect the ministry to give us more explanation to it. Is it the energy sector levy that has come in to fill this gap, or it was not the energy sector levy? What do we say to again? We have what we call the PRG, which talks about the guarantee that we get from the World Bank. And World Bank, previous years, they stopped giving us this facility because of the debt that we have. But now, since we've been able to pay off this amount of money, it seems that World Bank will be giving us that money and also make us credit worthy in the world market.
Yes.
So I have a question I want you to answer. Okay. Now that we are paying off debts, I mean, ECG, we heard that they were owing and that kind of thing. The accumulation of this debt, can we know how it came about? Like, are they going to tell us how we were able to arrive at this debt? Because I know the previous administration also paid some amounts, yet we're still owing. To the extent that when this administration came into power, we're hearing that, hey, but that's just say a serious issue on Kasankasa. So will that education be given to us? I'm not asking you to answer. I'm just saying if you can answer.
Yes. So it's a gap that the statement did not actually address. Okay. So accountability is very imperative. Yeah. You know, we need to tackle the root cause of it. Paying the debt doesn't mean that it is not going to occur. Exactly. We should tackle the root causes to prevent the reoccurrence of the debt again. And so going forward, I think that is what we should do. And then our energy sector, our energy system is such that we pay electricity. But because the tariffs, it's something we need to tackle. We need to tackle the root causes of it, like the energy theft, and then there are so many institutions that do not pay, electricity bills and debt. We should consider those things, illegal connections, to be able to bridge the gap, so that going forward, see, at the end of the day, wherever this money came from,
it would have done something if it was,
you understand, and that is what they refuse to address. That they got the money from this. I think
Clement has a different opinion.
You want to think yes, we're talking about opportunity cost. Economists will tell you that aside this energy sector, that we could have used to build hospitals, construct the road, build more ambulances. But last, what I want to say is that in as much as government is doing this, people or individuals who don't pay their light bills. We still have people who use the old meters, who don't pay light bills, who don't buy prepaid. They use illegal connections. So such people need to desist from this, because you see, this issue has become a whole nation. But we have some people who are still not doing what they are supposed to do as Ghanaians, and that is something that needs to be stopped.
Okay, so you're talking about those people using the old meters. Maybe they are scared of the accumulated debts they are going to pay. Will you pay for them?
No, the point is they use the old meters, all right, but they don't pay monthly bills.
Okay.
And people are doing illegal connections.
That is where the accountability comes in.
So the accountability starts from you as the citizen, as the individual. This is good news for all of us, but you can also do your part by making sure that you are being accountable. If you are using the old meter, please make sure you are paying your light bill all the time. Prepaid for the year. You need choice. You either choose or better someone. I say. Anyways, thank you so much. This is our show, or this has been our show for you today on the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am Miriam Abna Adede. Yayo Awono was here earlier. We have Clement Yabankwe and also Peter Insia. Benedict Nketia Kwarten also passed through with our sports. Thank you to our producers, our general manager, and everyone who made this production a success. See you same time on Thursday, but at 3 p.m. today, we'll have LTS, our entertainment show, where we discuss all the trends in the entertainment world. So please tune in at 3 here on Plug TV for more. Thank you so much, and bye.